Hammer skills are being readied.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Spearhead cast. With me, Matt. We got a map here on Drew's Scout, I think it's called. Between two British players and two Wehrmacht players. Let's go through them, shall we? Looks like it's gonna be an early engagement in the fields already. We have Brembayer as the Wehrmacht playing as the Panzer Division. And we have Kikeung, who's not picked a division yet, but he's getting some... Oh, now he's picked a division. He's picked Infanterie. Interesting. He has some engagements going on early, but let's have a look at the British players. We have Eric playing as Royal Guard Hammer Tactics. And we have BH-18 playing as Royal Armoured Regiment Hammer Tactics. I guess we're going to have some very aggressive British players today. We already have some Guards Armoured Rifle sections because of that. And we also have some Guards Grenadier Guard regiments coming in. Looks like the Germans went straight for the fields, though, to try and take a hold of that. Now, I'm not sure that's going to be as beneficial in the long run, because they need to connect the territory quickly. Looks like Bambeya is just pulling out a lot of Volksgrenadiers currently to secure some ground. And the same thing with Kikeung. He's getting a lot of Volksgrenadiers. But the British are going to have more of the terrain control if they keep getting control of the lockout of the cutoff points here. Excuse me. We have a fair bit of range engagement down here by the farms, apparently. These frozen over farms. The pioneers trying to keep the British at bay here. Oh, actually switching out the pioneers for the Volksgrenadiers in that position. Very smart move. Let's have to gotta be able to keep the British at bay for a while. Looks like Bambeya is going straight for Grenadiers afterwards now. Oh, another Volksgrenadier, okay. He's going very heavy on the Volksgrenadier play. You know, the British are still trying to have an engagement with the Volksgrenadiers of Kikeung here. Eric is slowly trying to push up with his Grenadier rifles. The Grenadier Guards. Volksgrenadier moved up there to throw grenades, keeping BH at bay with his Guards armored. But 3 Volksgrenadiers, that is a lot of troops very early. The Grenadier Guards are slowly itching their way up against Kikeung's Volksgrenadiers here. The problem here is that Bambeya doesn't even have control of the sector, actually. It's still cut off. They're getting no resources from it. They're really just delaying. The BH-18 coming up with the biggest machine gun. A reliable machine gun. Probably one of the most reliable you can get, actually. It's not as fast firing as the German ones, but it's fairly accurate. It's very good at long range engagements for an MG. The rifle guards are not even being fully manned before being sent out. Looks like they're also going straight for an early pack after they are taking up. Interesting. So it looks like Kikeung had it a little bit harder this time. The British Grenadier Guards have pushed up. British armored troops trying to push up here, and he's getting a Brent carrier. Brent carrier is very handy to have early, but I think that's why we see Bambeya going straight for an early pack. The pack is a good counter towards the Brent carrier early on. But now they're going to figure out that the cutoff point has not even been taken yet, so Bambeya is really just doing delaying tactics. We had a lot of heavy engagement here early on, but Kikeung now has to step up because Eric is taking a good control of this area. Yes, the Brent carrier. Universal carrier is a very handy little vehicle you can get early on. But Bambeya did go for the pack, so hopefully that'll allow him to get an advantage here, if he can get a good shot on it.
Ready for orders.
He's also not armed the Volksgrenadiers with Panzerfaust yet, so they have no anti-tank capability currently. It might be hard for the Germans to try and take this fuel back. That Vickers is in a very good position. But the Volksgrenadiers are trying. Not going well for that guards regiment, the guards unit. Oh, they actually got shut down.
Infantry section wiped out.
It's getting closer. But the pack is coming up. DH does not notice, though. They're throwing grenades out just to delay it, I think. That's a smoke grenade, I think. Enable. Very smart. Obscuring the approach of the pack. Meanwhile, the British have set up a forward assembly here, which is going to allow them to hold the scar a lot easier. But then an MG42 set up here now for Kikarun. We're going to have a little bit of a heavy engagement here. Using smoke grenades to their advantage. Very good job. Oh, now they're in a bad position. I think that might be a dead Grenadier squad. A Volksgrenadier squad. Yes, they got cut down.
We have lost a squad.
But the Germans did neutralize the fuel, and they might actually be able to capture it. But it might be at the cost of a Volksgrenadier. But they did capture it, but I don't think they're going to get out of there alive. Actually, they might. Yeah, they did. Very lucky. He's already getting a replacement Volksgrenadier. It looks like these Germans are going straight for Volksgrenadiers rather than Grenadiers. And it looks like Bemba has not even built up his base. He's relying entirely on units from the HQ. So he has an MG34 in here, I think. Instead of an MG42, if we can find it. And that's an MG34. But Vickers is going to really lock down this sector. That said, they have ensured that point is not taken. Oh, we have an infantry division lieutenant here. Who is actually a combat unit because he's playing as infantry. Which is very handy. He's calling down some kind of artillery on it. Oh, he did also go for his normal grenadiers now instead of Volksgrenadiers. The grenadier squads you get from infantry division are very good because they can be armed with MG42s, which have 100 round magazines instead of the 50 round magazine, which is very handy. They're armed with the 100 round belts instead of the small circular boxmen. Well, the British are having an engagement down here too. He's actually called in a Guards Valentine command squad without that tank. Oh, it's not looking too good though. That MG34 is in a very good position. And they're bearing out with MP40s. Looks like Bembe is gonna use a lot of automatic weaponry. But he's not even teched up yet. He's getting another MG34 and another Volksgrenadier after he techs up. He's going very heavy on the infantry for being a Panzer commander. But a flank from the British here with the Grenadier Lieutenant has threatened Kikarung's position. Good job from Eric here. Oh yeah, the British are advancing heavily here. Already getting up to the German base. Let's put them in range of the base bunkers. The forward assembly is going to be very handy too. You can actually call them the Black Watch with his commander choice. And or the Scots Guard or the Welsh Guard. It depends on what he wants to use. And Bay is still holding the south relatively well. Just reducing a mass of German troops. But oh, they're actually not getting the fuel because that is a cutoff. That is very fascinating. And now Eric is trying to set up a Vickers in place when he wants to try and force the Germans to stay in their base. But Kikarung has gotten a 221, which he's going to be upgrading to a 222. Thanks to the autocannon that's going to be equipped.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Oh, we even have a British sniper present. Well, I don't think that's a very good building for him.
The AT gun you ordered
And
is
Bayer's
ready.
Volksgrenadier is already pushing up to punish him. He probably should get that sniper back where he can be healed up. Or equip him with medical training. And now the British are taking the point. The battlefield is starting to get a little bit more aligned here. But the British are getting a personnel carrier now. Interesting. And now finally the Germans teched up. But he's getting a pack 40 from the Waffenkammer. So he skipped the Infanterie Baracken immediately and just went straight for the Waffenkammer. Relying entirely on Volksgrenadiers for his tier 1. He's using the 221 to try and snipe at the officer. You should have hit the Bren carrier instead, I'd say. And here we have an infantry commander. The Germans have set up something of a front line stretching across the map here. Even with a bunker. But they need to get rid of that Vickers K emplacement. Which the lieutenant is calling down barrages on now. You might actually want to arm the lieutenant here with MP44s, STGs. But the British have secured basically the entire front on that end. Looks like BHAC is going to try and do a mechanized flank here. Try and get around here with the personnel carriers. Very smart move. Let's see if there's actually any mines laid. There is not, from what I can look of it. Which could be a very big issue for the Germans in this position. But B should not move into the range of the pack though. If that pack turns, those half-tracks are in trouble. But he's going to use the 50 cals on top of it to just try and kill the crew of it. Ooh, but one of them got hit. These Volksgrenadiers are not armed with Panzerfaust, which makes them exceptionally weak to vehicles. Oh, but now the Pack 40 is in position. He's immediately evacuating the troops. The Germans are still holding on. It's not looking too good for the British. Calling up the Valentine command squad again. Yeah, I do not think the British is doing well in that engagement. And while we have the 2-2-1 there, or 2-2 as it will be called, trying to destroy the Vickers emplacement. Ooh, that Pack 40 just... Ooh. Was that the Germans are trying to set up a flak emplacement too? And here we have a Valentine from BH-18. Going to fire hacks. Oh, right on the Volksgrenadiers, killing them. And now the Pack 40 is in position. Oh, but it didn't penetrate. But it's gonna probably prompt BH-18 to fall back. No, not yet. He's actually smoking the position. And we have some Coldstream Guard now coming in for BH-18. These guys are almost entirely with American equipment. They can be used a lot more aggressively. But like instead of the Lee Enfield, they're armed with M1 Garands, as you can see, and Thompsons. Essentially, they work like an American infantry squad mostly. Oh, and the autocannon on the scout car to tear up the Bren carrier. We need to see what BH-18 does in this situation. It's getting more Coldstream, and meanwhile Bombay is just still holding on here with just Volksgrenadiers as he's taking up. He might be aiming for some kind of early vehicle if he can, which is why he takes up so fast. Or tries to anyway. Oh, we have some fire for effect here from the Lieutenant. This is going to prompt the British to have to move. Very nice to see. We have a lot of very interesting engagement. It also looks like Higung is replacing his Volksgrenadiers entirely with actual Grenadiers. This should allow him to be a lot better at the long-range engagements, especially if he arms them with the LMG-42. We have the Valentine moving up again. But the Pack 40 only needs one good shot. But it didn't penetrate again. We have a high explosive shot coming from the Valentine. But it missed! It overshot. Ooh, he has to be very careful. One good shot from the Pack 40 and that thing is dead. Oh yeah, like that's a good shot, but it didn't penetrate. Oh well, it did penetrate, but it didn't do enough damage. Yeah, that's a death sentence for the British.
Armored vehicle gone.
And Bayer is holding BH-18 at bay pretty well. But his ally Eric is just sticking in here and threatening the German base. It's up to BH-18 though to try and make a move here to regain this ground for the British. Stream Guard might give an advantage if you can get closer enough, but it's hard to get close with a flak and an MG34 inside the building. And another MG34 here. Meanwhile, looks like the Infanterie is trying to push up here from Kigarung. Getting pinned down by VH-18 Svikas. And one of the squads from Eric. The 222 is moving again. Oh yeah, that's a dead Grenadier squad. Not a good retreat path. Meanwhile, looks like the Germans are still just trying to hold on here. Now we have Vermeer going for the Fahrzeughalle. We should allow him to get tanks. Probably gonna get a few of them to support his front line. And we believe he's getting another Pack 40. Yes, he is. So he's relying a lot on Volksgrenadiers to just buy him time, by the looks of it, and hold ground.
Where do you need us?
Meanwhile, BH-18 has got another Valentine. Wonder what he plans to use with that.
Yes?
But look at the front line here, like, Eric is completely dug in with along this front line here. It's gonna be very hard for the Germans to push them out. Especially with this forward assembly here. Line them a forward operation post. The Germans are just slowly digging in further and further. You have a mortar now coming in from Kigarung. The 8.14 centimeter Radwerfer.
Manufacturing capability has been increased.
The Lieutenant has not got many kills, but he has gotten veterancy from just being near the fighting. That's a good thing. What bonus does he give? Faster equipment recharge. That's actually really handy. You can get a lot more grenades. And he's using the illumination barrage and the firefly effect followed by it. Very good play. Just because of that trench and that emplacement. Depends if it hits the trench though. Doesn't look like it is. No, it doesn't seem to be targeting the trench. We have another flak coming up from Bombay. And now we have the 222 firing. Trying to hit the trench here with the autocannon. But the mortar placement is firing back. Trying to aim for this area by the looks of it. We have another Valentine from the British. And BH-18. Oh! Almost killing the Pioneer squad with a high explosive shell. I think BH-18 should probably take up and get some heavier tanks. How's the British doing with teching? They are mostly teched up entirely. Looks like we have Vanguard operations going in for Eric. He's probably aiming for Churchill. BH-18 should probably in for Cromwell or something similar. Hard to say. Or perhaps a Centaur, because there is a lack of German tanks at the moment, so the Centaur would be able to mow through a lot of them. Ooh, the Pack 40 did a good shot there. Flying at full range too. Let's see. There's three Grenadier Guards here. I just shoot at this fuel cache. Okay. Oh, we have some stormtroopers now from Kigarung. That should be interesting. Oh, we also have a Hauptmann now for Kigarung. And because it's infantry division, all of them are essentially combat units. So the officer, the Hauptmann himself, is armed with an STT-44. You can actually use them as combat troops, which is not normal for all commanders to get. Oh, now we have a Cromwell for BH-18. And still no Panzerfausts. Oh, that could be dangerous if BH-18 flanks with the Cromwell like that. See here. See, we only have the lieutenant officer, the Grenadier Guard lieutenant for Eric here. Does BH-18 have an officer? Not at the moment, as far as I can see. Looks like we have 15 Kanzler Hauptmann without his vehicle for Bimbaya. He's just a low the combat unit with pistols, mostly used for artillery. Cannot be used with his tank then. Looks like BAT might be planning a flank. What? Oh, the Germans are trying to make a push. But that's gonna be problematic, because that's gonna get them right into the British fire. And they have no Panzerfaust currently, which could be a death sentence. But that flag is providing a little bit of an issue. And the Pack 40 is doing its job on that flanking side. But he's moving up further and further with the Cromwell here. Needs to be careful where he moves though. The Germans are trying to make a counter-attack over here to try and reclaim some ground. The British lines have been weakened. The Grenadiers in conjunction with their Hauptmann is trying to make some ground. And here comes the British lieutenant. Oh! Oh, that's gonna hurt. Stormtroopers has not been pulled out yet here. Oh yeah, the front line is really getting a little bit more hectic in some places. But I still think the British have this. Getting another Cromwell. He lost his Cromwell. Alright, because of the Pack 40, and I assume the Germans got Panzerfaust at that point. We now have Panzer 4H coming out finally for the Germans. They've been very late to getting their tanks. That flag is really causing a lot of issues. Artillery coming in for the Germans. While the British mortar emplacement is threatening the Germans. Or trying to. We have a Jaeger squad now for Kikarum. Very nice. I would really say that Bavaria should probably tech back to get the infantry baracken so he can get some Panzer Grenadiers. Because the Volksgrenadiers are not gonna stand up in the long run unless he just keeps using them as a static defense line.
We have a new Panzer 4.
We have a Churchill coming out for Eric soon. That might allow him to push up into the German base. British just still slowly trying to dig in. Have the Jaegers present here. Trying to snipe with a scope Gewehr 43. That officer's in a very bad position. Oh, but they got the 221 thanks to the AT gun. I got one shot off. Oh, that one actually, my bad. But that is a dead officer. He's not gonna be able to get that officer out in time.
Enemy got one of our squads.
So the Germans are slowly trying to creep up again with their infantry. We now have the tank from Bayer. He might be planning a push with that. But BH-18 is slowly getting more vehicles. The Pack 40s though are in a very good position. He's done a good job having a defensive line. Oh, and the flag is just causing so much issue. Trying to call an artillery barrage here. I think he wants to hit the flag, but he's missing. Oh, that's a bad move. He's moving the Panzer 4 straight into a Cromwell, and the Cromwell got the killing shot. Meanwhile, the Germans now have a Panzer 4. In fact, they should now have a Panzer 4 of their own, and it's trying to make a push. But Eric has a Churchill, which is slowly going to be creeping up. It's going to take a while for it to get to the front line, though. He needs to heal up those Grenadier squads. Cromwell's trying to make a move. Oh, but a good shot. Oh, yeah, Pack 40's got it. Churchill's going to be a big threat to the Germans, I think. But Kikarum is slowly creeping up with his elite troops here. Panzer 4 to support is not bad either. But I do not think the Panzer 4 GA is going to stand up against the Churchill. Unless he can flank it, that is. That is a lot of Volksgrenadiers.
The enemy is attacking one of our forward buildings.
Not the best position I'd be in all honesty. And that's white phosphorus. Now we know that BH-18 is going for that on his tanks. Trying to push. Hold down artillery in this area. You have the Churchill coming up at Panzer IV. Jay here is going to be in for a surprise.
Ready for orders. Upgrade finished. Very handy.
Oh yeah, already a good shot from the Churchill. That's going to have to prompt the Panzer IV to pull back. If the Churchill gets one more shot on it, if you could see it, it would have been a dead Panzer IV. And while BH-18 is getting a Sexton, just as Eric has.
Heavy tank reporting.
Stormtroopers are armed with scoped Gewehr 43, but not anything else. Used mostly as a scout unit, I assume, and a marksman unit.
We must defend our
Ah, they're bombing the base now with the Sextons. Cheeky move. But the Stormtroopers alongside the Halfman are really cutting down the British infantry in the open. By that angle there, and now the Churchill's coming up. And it's being armed with high explosives. Now that's going to be a real threat to the... Oh! He's actually using it as an artillery piece. We have another Sexton we have the Sexton now finally for BH. I do not see the German front line holding for much longer.
ready for instructions.
The Panzer IV is trying to get repaired. But the Germans are running out of troops.
Heavy tank ready.
The British have been pounding them. Well, the artillery is not doing too much to the base.
An infantry section of Tommies has been trained.
The main threat is that Churchill on this flank, I'd say. The Germans still have this flank pretty well covered. Slowly creeping up again with his lieutenant. But one shot from that Churchill could be the end of that lieutenant.
We've been promoted, lads. That's nice.
Oh! Yeah, he needs to pull back there. Well, the Jaegers are slowly using the bushes here. We have an assault barrage coming in here from BH. But pulling up his infantry like that is not going to work unless he can keep killing that squad. Oh yeah, he killed the machine gun. And he killed the flag. Oh, now it's time to move.
Shit! Under fire from anti-tank gun. Receiving
Killed by Willie P. Yeah, that's how you do it. But now he needs to move. There's artillery barrage coming in on him. Now the British are pulling through. That's a Panzerschreck. That's not gonna be ready in time. Got some Irish Scots coming up here. Yeah, now the British are pulling through. This front line has collapsed for the Germans. They are about to be encircled. Although BH-18 is pulling his men very close together here. And the Germans still have anti-tank equipment.
We are losing a sector.
The Coldstream Guard is doing their part.
We have lost an MG team.
We even have air superiority coming over. Looks like the RAF wanted to make a show. And they've actually recruited the flak. Now the Germans have to deal with it. But I think that's a Tiger coming in. Yes, it looks like Bembeya is getting a Tiger tank. But he is really lacking troops now after the British pulled through. BH-18 did a good job there.
Tank commander awaiting next order.
Looks like we have a Churchill Crocodile coming in, and the infantry division is still in vain trying to push up here.
Loaded and ready.
We'll need to see what happens. I think the Germans might be in for it here. Churchill slowly just keeping a watch in this area. That's what the Germans gonna do to a freaking Churchill.
Our renovated HQ.
That is a veteran C4 Hauptmann though.
Tanks are now available.
That is a very impressive Hauptmann. I switched to high explosive shells. Probably a good move because there's no real tanks to deal with currently. But artillery is coming in. Okay, well, the bridge is just moving up slowly now with the Coldstream Guard. And we have a Firefly coming in, which could threaten this Tiger tank when it's on the field.
Tiger ready.
The bear should really take down and get Panzer Grenadiers though, I think. He needs some better troops. Ah, we have a field howitzer coming in for the Infantry Division though. In vain trying to beat back the British artillery forces. You also have a Major coming in, which probably could have arrived in a command panther if he had the fuel.
Officer is awaiting orders.
Yeah, the Germans have to be very careful when pushing up here.
Tank ready.
And now the British are just stealing all the German equipment and preparing it for their own use. But here comes the Tiger tank. This is the one we have to follow closely. It could be destroyed very fast, or it could take a while for the British to take care of it. We shall have to see. The Firefly is on the field after all. But here we have the Tiger tank. He should not get too close though. These British have thermite grenades. Thermal grenades. Like that. Yeah, that Tiger's dealt with.
Infantry squads are ready to conduct.
Good job by the British there. That Tiger should not have been moved up that far. Gigerung is still trying to hold on here, but I think this is over for the Germans. I think the Wehrmacht has lost this ground. Good job by the British players. And now, just in time as the Churchill Crocodile arrives to push out the Germans entirely. Oh, good job with the Panzer IV command tank flanking there. What a good shot at the Churchill. Churchill is still armed only with high explosives. Oh, but high explosive actually damaged it. Now that is very rare. And the Grenadiers are trying to push up here with anti-tank grenades. Oh, we're actually gonna get up and throw it. But that's a rifle grenade. Oh, it didn't do anything. Ah, but the Germans surrendered. Well, that was a very good match, I'd say. I hope you had fun watching it. And I'll see you all next one, everyone. Bye-bye.